Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Solving Leetcode Hard Question. Today's question is candy. The question is as follows. There are n children standing in a line. Each child is assigned a rating value given in an integer array ratings. You're giving candies to these children subjected to the following requirements. Rule number 1 is that each child must have at least one candy. Rule number 2, children with a higher rating get more candies than their neighbors. Return the minimum number of candies you need to have to distribute the candies to the children. Now let's look at two examples. In the first example, the input ratings are 1, 0, 2. So we can assign 2 candies to the first child, 1 candy to the second child, because it has to have at least 1 candy, but it has to be less than what the first child has. And again, 2 candies to the third child. And to add them up, you get an output of 5. In the second example, the input ratings are 1, 2, 2. And the assignments can be 1 candy, 2 candies, and 1 candy. And their sum is 4. Now note that in this scenario, even though the second and the third child have the same rating, the second child has more candies. This is because the rule only specifies that children with a higher rating get more candies than their neighbors. But if your neighbor has the same rating, you might have the equal amount or even less candies than them. So how do we solve this question? Pause here if you like to think independently for a moment. The general approach we can use here is greedy, which is the method to always make locally optimal choices in hopes of reaching a global optimum. To start, let's focus on the first rule, that each child must have at least 1 candy. So given an array of ratings, we can initialize the candies for each child to be 1 first. Moving on, the second rule states that children with a higher rating get more candies than their neighbors. So let's focus first on the left neighbor. That means traversing through the ratings array from left to right. If we see that the current rating is greater than its left neighbor, we need to assign more candy to this child. So for example, 3 is greater than 2, so we give 1 more candy to the second child. And similarly, 4 is greater than 3, so we need to assign 1 more candy to the third child compared to the second child. If the current rating is not greater than its left neighbor, then we're not breaking the rule, so we leave the number of candies untouched. Finally, we look at the right neighbor. So children with a higher rating should also get more candies than their right neighbor. That means looking at the ratings list from right to left. If the current rating is higher than its right neighbor, but the candy count is not higher, then we need to give this child 1 more candy. Otherwise, we can leave the candy count untouched. We have 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1. And the sum of it is 12. In summary, we start with 1 candy for each child. We'll conduct 2 loops across the candies list. We first do a forward pass, which means that if the current child has a higher rating than the child on their left, give them 1 more candy than the child on the left. Then we do a backward pass. If the current child has a higher rating than the child on their right, and the current child's candy count is not higher, then give them 1 more candy than the child on their right. In the end, we sum all the candies. This is the pseudocode in Python. We first initialize the list, then we conduct the forward pass and backward pass, and in the end, we sum the array. The final time complexity is O of n, and the space complexity is also O of n. That's it for today. Let me know if you have any questions, and see you next time.